Let's bring in Niall Stanage, White House columnist for our partners at The Hill. Niall, thanks so much for being here.
Good to be with you, Natasha.
So, Niall, we saw Mr. Trump at that event in D.C. last night, and now he's in Michigan. What is the goal of tonight, especially with DeSantis presenting his ideas about the border tomorrow?
So it gives the former president the capacity to make headlines of his own. It gives him the capacity to rev up Republicans there in Michigan, which of course is a crucial state in the general election. But also, more to the point, he could perhaps make news that would maybe blunt some of the impact that Governor DeSantis is hoping to make tomorrow, Natasha.
And let's talk about the border and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, because the DeSantis campaign actually did release a new video on the border today. Let's take a quick look at that together.
At the southern border, a record 2.76 million migrants crossed the border during the 2022 fiscal year, shattering the previous annual record by more than 1 million.
Okay, so Niall, what do you make of the tone here? Is this a preview of what we could expect to hear tomorrow?
It is a preview. It is consistent, I think, with the views of the Republican base. That base is very hawkish on immigration, very legitimately concerned about the number of crossings of the southern border. And obviously, in a Republican primary, you're appealing to the most activist voters. That's what Governor DeSantis is trying to do. He already is a hardliner on the border, as many of his rivals are. So this ad and the speech that we expect in Eagle Pass tomorrow in Texas will, I'm sure, be along the same lines.
Is the border DeSantis's big opportunity to differentiate himself from other Republican opponents and regain some of that ground in the polling?
So, yes and no. It isn't in the sense that his proposals are likely to be broadly similar to a number of other candidates. There aren't really any frontline Republican candidates who are soft on the border. But I think the argument that Governor DeSantis is going to be making is the same argument that he makes about his campaign writ large. And that's that he's the person who can get things done. The ad you were showing a moment or two ago ends with the line, "No excuses." That's not only a jab at President Biden and his administration, it's a jab at former President Trump for not having such an emphatic victory on this issue as he had promised.
Okay, Niall Stanage, always appreciate the perspective. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.